Take two, other kid, action.
Hey, Mark. Nice to see you this morning. 8:45 on the clock tells me we have an agreement.
What kind of agreement?
You remember our agreement from yesterday?
Oh, yeah, I forgot to ask my mom. She didn't get home until really late last night, and I was watching TV and I forgot.
Yep, I forget sometimes too. This is really important to me, so I'd like to think about how you can solve this right now.
My mom's really busy, so I can't call her.
I'm guessing this would be important to your mom too.
Maybe. I think she would be pretty mad if I called her and interrupted her workday. And she's at home, and she has to clean and stuff, so it's important.
And you think she'd be less mad than if I made a phone call myself to her this afternoon?
No, I think I can make the phone call.
One second, bud. There's a phone right here.
Okay. I have a phone in my backpack.
Bert, there's a phone right here.
My mom won't know that number, so she won't answer that phone, so I should probably call her from my cell phone.
I feel like this is watching Kim.
Oh. Well, I don't have her number. I don't know her number, it's on my phone. Miss Jody can get me her number.
Sure. Thank you for reading that agreement.
Mom, Miss Jody's mean.
She's so mean. Okay. So, thank you. Well done, Brooke. I knew you'd be, as soon as you volunteered, I was like, yes, because you know this happened.
I can
You've
be
had
this
that
kid, 'cause I-
experience. Yes, you
Her
can.
neighbor was my high five.
So does it work?
It does work because they will, like she's, avoid the fact that I have a phone right there. They come up with every excuse not to have you be present during these times, and then it doesn't happen. And so it does work. You just have to follow through, and they have to know that it's important to you and that you're gonna be consistent, you're gonna be that consistent person for them. And I think
Now,
that's
what does
really
a
important.
child learn from a teacher that follows through?
I don't know exactly the skill that I can pinpoint one thing, but there are so many things. I've had so many students that have come up. Every year I have one that is really, really needing that consistency. I feel by the end of the year, they learn respect. They learn, sometimes they learn time management. They learn how to persevere because, this teacher's just not gonna give up on me, so I am gonna have to push through this.
I think they also transfer it. I'm not gonna let other people get away with this either.
Right.
You're modeling for them their own ability to expect others to meet their agreements that they've made to them.
Exactly, because they're seeing it firsthand.
Yeah.
And they're seeing it in a positive way, not a negative way,
Yeah.
so they know how to go about it and they get better feedback, I guess, than if they're like, you said you were gonna play with me at recess, and then the person's like, I won't play with you, you're screaming at me, but if we model it to them in a way that is positive, then they
Yeah.
can go and transfer that to their relationships with peers or with their siblings or parents.
So what were some of the firmness tools I used in there?
I guess one of them was like, when you were telling me, the phone's right here, you weren't very verbal and vocal about it, you used body language a lot, you were, you followed up exactly when you said, so you held up on your end of the agreement to show like, hey, we made a commitment to each other, and here I'm holding up my end, and now I'm expecting you to hold up your end.
So I was trying to remember from the day before, did you say we'll call her tomorrow, we'll get, you haven't done it?
No, but she said, can I count on you to get this to me tomorrow, because we're both committed.
So here,
So you don't give that, sorry Jody,
Yeah,
this
that's
question
okay.
for you, so you don't give that choice and saying, or that known expectation that, hey, if you haven't,
no, because I give her an out. She's in avoidance. Great, I don't have to deal with this till tomorrow. Right? So here's the thing. When you make agreements, and the older the child, the more often this occurs. So parents of teens, take note. But your younger ones will meet their agreements more readily. The older ones won't, and you know they won't. And that's why you get your firmness tools out with your mutual respect, and you get ready for how are you gonna handle this when you know it's a 50-50 chance whether she talked to her mom or not. If we go in that, we're like, oh, this is gonna be an awesome learning opportunity. See, if she had just done it, then cool on you, but if she doesn't, great, I'm gonna have an additional opportunity to show Brooke how much I care about her enough to hold her to this agreement. And so that way we can come in unemotional, unfazed by this, right? Turn that to this sense of like, and what happens if you don't? It just suddenly went kind of punitive. It went like, oh, was that an option? It's a real subtle switch, but not to in our minds, but not to the child. So Brooke still thinks I believe in her. You know, and really, I believe in her that she might not do it, but she will tomorrow when I hold her to our agreement. That's where my belief system is. So the other thing is there's a trap when you're making agreements, is assuming we have the same agenda. I know that you don't probably want to talk to your mom about it, because now your mom is going to be like, why do you have to stay after school? Why aren't you getting your work done? And there might be a lecture that comes with that. So I'm treading carefully here, but I also know I don't have the same agenda. I want you to do a lot more work than you think you want to do. You think you know it all. I know you don't. You know that this might not even be about it, but about the fact that you know it all. You might just need power. You might need choices. So by the agreement we made, I'm empowering you. Okay? So, hints. Don't let the maybes and the uncertainties. And be firm to the minute. Tomorrow morning, okay, what will that look like? All right, where would you like to meet? You know, I mean, like whatever, to the minute. And then set alarms on your clock if you have to, so that you can do that. And when they object, not if, but when, what was our agreement, Brooke? Calm. What was our agreement? And if she doesn't answer, you just wait. And it feels like a pretty long few seconds. You just wait. You don't wait with a smile, because that feels
Like degrading, like.
yeah. But you just meet. You just naturally. You just wait. You just wait, and don't fill that space with anything but patience and belief, faith. Okay. And use nonverbals from that point. As soon as those objections start coming out, so I think I said it maybe 2 times or something, and then not only did I wait, I didn't piggyback it with anything. So once you kind of go to that nonverbal place, stick with nonverbal for the most part. I mean, you have to let this be somewhat organic. In fact, you were like, well, I don't know the number. I don't know the number. And I just stuck there. What could I have so easily said? Yeah, which is totally like she's testing me, right? Mm-hmm. So then finally you were like, Miss Jody, could I have her number? Sure. You know, so there I went verbal again, but it was pleasant. It was very natural for me to do that. And then at the end, you always say, thank you for meeting our agreement.
What if she faked the phone call? I'm serious.
You're a stinker.
What kind of teenagers do you
That's what I was
have?
thinking.
No.
Although
Okay.
they have
I don't think
fun.
I've ever had a kid fake a phone call if it were in the classroom.
So here's what I would do. First of all, I won't know that she did until Thursday when you don't show up, right?
Wouldn't you follow up? Would you follow up with the
Yeah.
parent, or would you follow up with the student?
I'd follow up with the student. And then I'd see where you have to go with this, but clearly, Brooke, I don't feel like you're taking our agreement seriously. I take my job really seriously, and I take our relationship seriously. See, when you're providing dignity, they come around. But the older the child, the slower it is. But that's where that connect before correct becomes really important. We don't have the same agenda. That's that's a really big piece. The older they get, we don't have the same agenda. I am not on a pedestal for Brooke the way Kim is for her students. So you follow through. You follow through again. And it typically works. Yeah. And if we find, and remember the key here, this is the big key that will make it or break it. The key here is that Brooke doesn't feel shame and blame. It's that she gets to her agreement. That's the key. And that's hard for us as adults to let go of this you must pay. But remember, a child does better when they feel better. So behind a misbehaving child is that discouragement. And often behind a discouraged child is a misbehaving adult.
Huh.
Yeah, I like that. I'll tell my friend's ex-husband that.
Okay, so traps.
Are we,
It's fine. I was just gonna say 4 traps.
let's move on.